Bafo Kutodi, in a pain, or a chairman, Edda, Ayukufuano, or some, and him for no, baby. The minimum said, Nana Prempe, or Tosumi, no, or two for Santana, or some no. I know a chairman, Mano, or sign as some Nana Opokuare, I also Otosumi, no, Santana. Ena osum yanana osetutu a otoso mienu also asane hene na wa yenwuma bebrebe ena ode ama asanteman.
History is golden, and it is only a present that is animated by history that can create a prominent future. Ghana has seen many gems. And now we introduce Ochami Bafo Seakuto, the linguist, the politician, the farmer, philanthropist, educationist, and business mogul. We bring back Bafo because if today we have a constitution that guarantees human rights, we remember Bafo Seakuto. If it's about harnessing cocoa and agric resources for Ghana's development, we remember Bafo Akuto. If we talk about development and freedom, we remember Bafo. Ochami Akuto stands for democracy, freedom to develop, anti-imperialism, and a Ghana beyond aid. Bafo Akuto became fully and publicly involved in politics in the period just before the first major by-election in Ghana. It was an election held at Etrimanwabieja. The CPP MP had died in a car crash and a by-election was occasioned. According to Dennis Austin's Politics in Ghana, the entire leadership of the CPP descended on the tiny Ashanti village for the election. It included Kojobochu, Krobeduse, and Bedema. The opposition, led by Bafo, managed to match the government in the campaign, and eventually the opposition candidate B.F. Kusi was elected by a landslide. The opposition gained a new seat in parliament, and this set the tone for the growth in the agitations against dictatorship, concerns about the role of cocoa farmers, and the push for federalism. All these matters culminated in the formation of the National Liberation Movement, formed by Bafo Akuto, with the tacit support of their Santehene, Prempeh II.
Bafo Akuto die wa konko dine na waji santeman so esi ho. Wa ma santeman so ani mo benyam. Ene wa ma Ghana so abenyam. Efisa nya Bafo Akuto a ka bibia ni ho se MPP. One of our MPP by MPP now war free. MPP ne mama ne wine. MPP ne papa and wine. MPP ne papa and mama and NLM. That's all she more. Now we no a free National Liberation Movement. National Liberation Movement no a Sunday in a party. And what the chairman at the Tuano. The chairman Bafo Akuto what conquer dinner. My ya kopum awieye.
So when you are celebrating Bafo Akuto, you are looking for an icon of fearless courage in politics, where now every young lawyer can go and file a writ of habeas corpus. And Bafo Akuto demonstrated that selfless. Remember, he wasn't doing all this for himself or for his family. He sacrificed his family, he himself, in order to push people like Busia forward, Dombo, S.G. Anto, Jato Kalo, and the other people he brought together to form the NLM, later on UP, and so on, Aram Ponsa, and later on people like Kwamna Battels followed in his footsteps of courage, including recently the late Dr. Kwame Amaku for IC Kwe. They followed in that selfless sacrifice of their personal freedoms, their personal wealth. Apiamenka sacrificing his personal wealth in order to advance the nation, not themselves, not their families.
Thus, Bafo and his party, the NLM, won some seats to gain presence in the 1956 Parliament. The list included stalwarts like B.F. Kusi, K.A. Buzia, Crunchy Taylor, Victor Owusu, and Joe Appiah.
When, after Bafo's death, we saw that, oh, I see, if the sin has become killing, then we shall also wake up and kill. Then we started vigorously with anybody. We were fighting here and there. And so we could do similar as they did. We were trying to do it too. And we also swore that if anybody dares to commit a crime on any of our member, we shall also revenge. And then it became a hectic game. Hectic game. Instead of this thing, normal struggle of for this thing, campaigning for each party, after it became a threatening affair. So that was the end of the game.
In 1959, Boafo Akoto was also arrested with some others. In 1961, J.B. Dankwa with 49 and others were also arrested. And then all over the country, in fact, the leaders of the opposition were also arrested one by one. But the fact remains that, to our utter surprise and dismay, we found the CPP gurus and the organizers also being brought in. CPP gurus and organizers, like the one who brought Kwame Nkrumah, Akwaji. Hey, Akwaji, what have you come here to do? And then the general secretary of the CPP, all of them. And then the entire staff of the CPP at the headquarters were all arrested. The drivers, the van drivers, the organizers, and we had them, top men like Kwatila Kote, Amate Ibrahim, and so on and so forth. Lots of them being brought into prison.
The incarceration of Boafo Akoto under the PDA led J.B. Dankwa to file a habeas corpus application in the High Court, demanding the court to order the physical presence of Boafo and the 7 others to determine if their arrest was warranted. The application was expectedly resisted by the learned Attorney General, the Honorable Jeffrey Bing.
Indeed, Ochiame, senior linguist, Boafo Akoto, has left a very big tradition by his suffering in prison, by his suffering, and by the industry of one lawyer, J.B. Dankwa, who will not sit by when something wrong was happening. The legacy is simple and clear, and it is well summarized in the 1969 Constitution, which I described in my lectures as a Charter of Liberty, which was repeated in the 1979 Constitution and also repeated in the 1992 Constitution. Because by his suffering and by the industry of J.B. Dankwa and the matter that was tested, which gave the clear decision that fundamental human rights had not been expressly provided for. It was a lesson. So in 1969, others ensured that fundamental human rights were expressly provided for. And that's what we are enjoying today.
Akonwa bia te se toilet you hine se be de anim na musuo mra eso ase you se be kansam mampunti mra abrabom ede hine na yedi ni sa no ede hine na yedi ni sa no wo e na wo ma santemai sei otufo wo na wo se santemai o tom e bi omo.
Monday, June 4th, 1979 was a rainy morning. The political campaign towards elections, presidential and parliamentary, for the Third Republic was in full swing. J.J. Rawlings and the coup plotters of May 15th were behind bars. And then suddenly, a coup arrived. The generations of Ghanaians who were living in Ghana at that time were those who had had close proximity to the riots of 28 February 1948, the political tensions of the First Republic, the coup d'etat of 1966, and had also heard and seen the excellent speeches of Prime Minister Buzia. And they, that group, had largely orchestrated civil disobedience to force strongman Kutu Achampon to hand over to civilian rule. This was the generation that mobilized professionals under the PMFFJ to unseat military rule. So on the morning of 15 May, everyone was angry that another coup was occurring when everything was ready for constitutional rule.
Now, the reaction to that attempt all around the country, from all our reporters, was, oh, please, these soldiers, we are tired. What's this? We are going back to civilian rule. We are going to have elections. Why is somebody trying to stage a coup again? That was the general impression. And I believe even among the military at the time.
This anger of the people against coups must have been the reason why the AFRC was forced to maintain the order to hand over power soon after the June 4th revolution. So a complicated calendar emerged. The coup occurred on June 4th. Parliamentary and presidential elections were fought on the 18th of June. The executions were carried out on the 26th of June. The second round of the presidential election occurred in July, and the handover to civilian rule occurred in September. All of this in 1979, a dramatic June to September for all of Ghana's history. So what was the June 4th coup about, and who organized it?
The June 4th uprising was the brainchild of rank-and-file soldiers. No officer, and I repeat, no officer, was involved in its initial stages. It was born out of years of frustration and anger with the officer corps, whose frequent military interventions, mismanagement, and ineptitude had brought our country almost to its knees. Our soldiers wanted to protest against the dictatorship of their superiors.
Be that as it may, was the coup also intended by J.J. Rawlings to be a political advert for the future? Was J.J. launching a bigger political career beyond the rhetoric and the choboy of a revolution? Here is Elizabeth Ohene, who was editor of the Graphic at the time.
Flight Lieutenant Rawlings said to me that, he was going to lead the group of soldiers that were going to see off General Akufo at the airport. Because General Akufo, having become chairman of the SMC2, that day he was going to, I think, the Gambia and Senegal. And Flight Lieutenant Rawlings said to me that, he was going to be the officer who was going to lead the guard of honor at the airport. Could I please make sure that the graphic cameras capture this? So at the meeting, the morning meeting where we send out reporters and such, I declared an interest. I said to my colleagues at the meeting that I have an interest. There's a friend of mine who is going to lead the detachment that will see off the guard of honor for General Akufo. That can the cameraman who is going please make sure that they take a photo of him? He's called Flight Lieutenant Rawlings. And everybody laughed. And we put this picture of Flight Lieutenant Rawlings leading the guard of honor detachment on the front page of the graphic. A few days later, Flight Lieutenant Rawlings stages or attempts to stage a coup May 15th. This is a few days later. So that day, as it happened, the graphic was the only person that had a photo of the person who had tried to stage the coup. And why did we have a photo? Because we had photographed him leading this detachment at the airport. So that's the only reason we had the photo of him.
Who then was the AFRC and how was it formed?
Apparently, Captain Edmond Koda had recently said, and I read it in the papers, that the AFRC was formed in a classroom. I won't dispute that, because we were in a lecture hall. We were in a lecture hall at the Air Force Base, and I believe that was where the AFRC was formed, and of course in my absence. And then news came through that Broadcasting House had been recaptured by Major Sulemana and some of his Recce elements. So I decided, well, what I started has got to be finished. So I'm going to go out and deal with this new threat.
Justice Kwame Afre talks about how the AFRC operated.
The AFRC government consisted of two main organs. The AFRC itself, made up of the chairman, as Flight Lieutenant Rawlings, then the deputy chairman, Osahene Boachijan, about 4 commissioned officers, and I think a majority of people of other ranks. And then there was a council of commissioners, which consisted of the commissioners or ministers who run the ministries. As Osahene himself said, they inherited us from SMC2. Now, in between these two organs, the AFRC installed the liaison officer. I think the name is a bit long, but liaison officer, in the person of General Joshua Hamidu, through whom the two organs occasionally communicated. The AFRC met and took its decisions without consulting the commissioners. I cannot recall that the AFRC and the council ever met together. With your permission, I'd just like to contrast this with what happened in the SMC. The SMC, you have the Supreme Military Council consisting of the senior military officer who constituted that council. But then there was a larger group called the National Redemption Council, which they had inherited from SMC1. And I think every month, or at least every 2 months, once every 2 months, all the SMC members and all the all the commissioners met at cabinet meetings. But we didn't have this particular system operating under the AFRC.
So the AFRC came in when the timetable for constitutional rule had already been set up. No changes were made to that timetable. What then did the revolution seek to achieve, and how did that help the cause of Ghana? I'm afraid to say not much. Not much at all. The high point of the AFRC discussion is the killings, the executions. The first thing the AFRC did was to pass a decree creating special courts to trial people. The trial courts were said to be sitting at the presidential Peduase Lodge in the eastern region. The trial process was horrendous. The courts were actually kangaroo courts, and they convicted their victims of anything they found them guilty of. They gave them huge sentences and prescribed execution for some of them. These courts struggled for credibility. At some point, they claimed that they had relied on the Criminal Code Act 29 as it then was, so that persons who overthrew or participated in the overthrow of constitutionally elected regimes were charged and found guilty of treason, and they were killed by execution. That's the reason they gave for the killing of Kutu Acheampong and Utuka. But could there have been another reason for the killing of Acheampong and others?
General Acheampong was deemed to have been the leader of a coup which overthrew Dr. Busia's PP government, and which overthrew...
Who starts?
Frimpong Boateng, the NPP, and what is to come. Okay. Then.
That's how we'll start. What is not sliding you, but we'll end with this.
Yeah, that one, we'll show it. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay, you have some photographs there?
Yes, so this is for, as you are talking.
So you have Frimpong Boateng, and then the story about the his appointment being revoked. I need these photographs for that. Yeah. Okay.
Then we have excellent. Some MPP.
So you think it's something we can do in 5 minutes?
Well, it depends largely on.
With this press statement, we'll read all of it.
So, we can just say what it is. It's short, so it simply says that one, they've taken judicial notice of what has been going on air. Nobody petitioned them per se.
Yeah, okay.
So
but they've seen it,
They've seen it, they're going to initiate processes.
Do you have Nyahota Maklo has been saying something about it?
Yeah, so Yahoo was saying that if they remove
Frimpong Boateng, purported removal.
Everybody will see. I don't know.
But Frimpong Boateng says he's not going to attend any event.
Yes, in fact, he said to hell with them.
Okay, are these pictures for Abana's interview?
Yes.
Let's see it.
So I didn't want. So there are general things that we'll be passing on as she's talking about Kennedy Jacob.
We'll start with her on PAC.
Economy?
No, PAC.
Okay,
yes,
public accounts.
Public accounts, yes, a little bit of public accounts. Okay. And then we'll get there. Okay.
So as she's talking.
Is Miracles on his way?
Yes, please. I've spoken to him. In fact, he's given us his designation and everything.
Okay.
We've also
18 for Joe. Also later. All right.
Yes,
okay. So let's.
This is content for the touch screen. The PowerPoint presentation.
And that's what Miracles wants to do.
No, so it's not necessarily him being on touch screen, but when
he'll be showing these things. Okay.
Then we have a short video.
All right. Okay. All right. Let's get ready and start. Let's go back to the. Roll it. Start. Us were too sweet, quote unquote, to believe. They therefore decided that everybody should hear what Acheampong had to say. They therefore carried him to the army headquarters, Accra. Now, these are his last words. He said, unquote, I pledge my full support for the Armed Forces Revolutionary Council, which toppled the SMC2 government headed by General Akufu on June 4th. In pledging this support, I am not in any way being sycophantic because I am aware that the AFRC is taking stringent measures to solve the country's problems, something my government and that of General Akufu could not do. Acheampong continued, and I quote, I have no regrets for staging the 1972 coup which toppled Dr. Busia's government, and looking back at my reign as Ghana's head of state from January 13, 1972 to July 5, 1978, when General Akufu and others removed me from office, I feel I have done enough for Ghana. I can't claim to be infallible. Perhaps my only fault was that I was too lenient and kind. I helped people like J.H. Mensah, Apia Minka, and Dr. Bilson to make money, even though I was... Good evening. Welcome to another January 2026 edition of the show. Sorry, we're coming in later than expected. Tonight is going to be bombastic politics. Frimpong Boateng has released the B-52 bomber on Channel 1 TV last night. The reaction is that the New Patriotic Party's Executive Council is beginning to think about expelling the legendary professor of heart surgery from the famous New Patriotic Party. Professor Frimpong Boateng served the New Patriotic Party sufficiently well. For those of us who've been following the news in Ghana for a while, he emerged during the Rawlings era as a great and stupendous heart surgeon of Ghanaian origin. Every Ghanaian was proud of the name Professor Frimpong Boateng. He took the courage to come home to town and to build Kolebu Teaching Hospital. He went through rigorous exercises and detail to develop the National Cardiothoracic Center. Up until all this time, Frimpong Boateng is a hero of medicine and medical science. Then sometime during the Kufuor administration, he was made the chief executive of the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital, it was clear then that Frimpong Boateng had political leanings towards the New Patriotic Party. Later on, it was to be understood that Frimpong Boateng is a bona fide member of the New Patriotic Party. In 2007, when they became, the opportunity came for the NPP to choose a new flag bearer, Frimpong Boateng threw his hat in there as a full bona fide member of the party. Frimpong Boateng continued to serve the party in opposition during the days of Professor Mills and John Dramani Mahama. In 2017, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the elected president on the NPP ticket, made Frimpong Boateng a Minister of State, Minister for Science and Environment. And soon thereafter, Akufo-Addo launched his fight against Galamsey, which was something that plagued the Ghanaian economy from 2015, 2016, 2017, in terms of water pollution, etc., and the massive trading of gold. Frimpong Boateng was made the chairman of the Interministerial Committee, and it was there that all hell broke loose. I had a personal experience of the matter because one fine Sunday, I wanted to understand the work of the Interministerial Committee. I spent Sunday afternoon with Frimpong Boateng at his home in Accra, and he told me quite a lot. This was the days of the Interministerial Committee's report here and there, etc. Rumors came through in 2021 that Frimpong Boateng would be one of those people to be sacrificed as a minister in the second term of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. We are hearing now that that matter was not properly handled. He didn't take it lightly. The government did not also understand the gravamen of the pain that the honorable professor was experiencing having been dropped from the government, or wasn't it? Now, since then, Frimpong Boateng has been an enemy of the NPP. He began separating himself from the Akufo-Addo government and being particularly critical of the government. He said that the government had appointees who were participating in illegal mining. He said that the government was corrupt. He directly attacked President Akufo-Addo, and all of that led to the 2024 elections. Last night, Frimpong Boateng spoke again, and there is our editorial. Let's get on the touch screen and deal with it. Good evening again. Welcome to the show. Later tonight, we have an interview with Abena Osei-Asare, the Honorable Member of Parliament, who is also former Minister of State at the Ministry of Finance. Abena Osei-Asare is also the Chairman of Parliament Public Accounts Committee, and you all have been seeing her work. Tonight, she's on the show to talk about Kennedy Agyapong, as the NPP now has some 17 or 18 days to go to elect a new flag bearer. That's our big story tonight. But let's look at the Frimpong Boateng story. Frimpong Boateng, the NPP, and what is to come. So our responsibility over the next 5 minutes is just to show you the pros and cons of the argument. Who are those in favor of Frimpong Boateng? Who are those against Frimpong Boateng? And then we can cast the verdict, as we always do, isn't it? The verdict will be our own opinion. So let's start now. We're talking about the New Patriotic Party. So you already know that Akufo-Addo appointed Frimpong Boateng to be a minister. Akufo-Addo did not repeat Frimpong Boateng as a minister in his second term. It was reported that Frimpong Boateng had taken that very badly and had taken that very personal, that it really pained him. I can understand. It didn't pain him because he wanted post. It pained him perhaps because of the agenda he set himself, and he knew that in the first term, because of the fight against Galamsey, he probably didn't have the time, space, and opportunity to deal with the environmental issues that perhaps was passionate to him, something that he wanted to leave as a legacy. So withdrawing him from a ministerial position would be painful, isn't it? Well, there are those who feel that he was unhappy because he wanted to go to Galamsey. I don't know whether he was doing Galamsey. His son, Jojo, has been accused of doing Galamsey. He told me that Jojo had a license to mine, is not Galamsey, etc., etc. So all of that forms part of the conversation. So those who support Frimpong Boateng say that, okay, let's build the story on to what happened last night. Now, so last night, Frimpong Boateng had this to say. I think we have a video at least to show you. This was the big one. The coup de grace was this. This Frimpong Boateng talking to Bernard Avle last night on CTTV Channel 1.
Do you still consider yourself a member of the MPP?
Where the present MPP is not MPP, it's fake.
What?
Yeah. What I see now, it is not the MPP I used to know.
But the question still stands. Do you still consider yourself a member of the MPP?
Not the fake one.
So which one is the real one?
The real one is there. It's a virtual thing, and the members are there in the background.
You think that... I don't understand.
But look at how they elected their last flag bearer. You know, twist the arms of weak and
This is for the 2024 election.
Yes. Twist people's arms, bribing delegates, and intimidating others to get a flag bearer. You know, this is the beginning of corruption, and this should not be allowed in any serious situation or in any serious party. And there were issues. We lost the elections badly, and we did not deal with the issues that led to the losses. And then we still want to go in there, and I think it would be a train wreck if they elect the old flag bearer.
All right, so that was Frimpong Boateng's bombastic answers to Bernard Avle last night. He said that the MPP is fake, etc., etc. And then the MPP reacted. So let's see the reaction of the MPP. I think it's a letter. Is it going to appear here? It's a press statement from the New Patriotic Party. And it says the party has taken due notice of comments made by Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng during an interview on Channel 1 TV on Monday, 12 January 2026, in which he described the party as a fake party and further stated that he no longer considers himself a member of the party. The same interview, Professor Frimpong Boateng made additional disparaging remarks about the party and alleged, among other things, that the party's 2023 presidential primary was rigged in favor of His Excellency Alhaji Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, the MPP's presidential candidate for that election. The party unequivocally rejects Professor Frimpong Boateng's unfortunate characterization of the MPP and firmly denies his baseless and unsubstantiated allegations regarding the conduct of the presidential primary. Essentially, the statement then went on to say that steps are being taken to expel Frimpong Boateng from the party. Now, this is where the society is getting divided. Those who support Frimpong Boateng, like Nyaho Tamaklo, I don't know whether they have his photograph, they'll put it up. Nyaho Tamaklo says that, look here, everybody shut up. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? We are the MPP. What is there as the MPP today is not MPP. If Frimpong Boateng says that, he's right. Nobody should touch Frimpong Boateng. I'm not sure what Nyaho's status is in the party right now, though, because I know there was a time when he has had major disagreements with the National Executive. I believe he's a founding member, or he was a founding member. I'm not sure. But Nyaho is firmly of the view that what Frimpong Boateng said is calling a spade is correct. And it is not a wrong characterization of today's MPP. And that the MPP that they know, they think it's a different MPP and it's not this one. So yes, so that's what Nyaho Tamaklo says. And that's what those who support Frimpong Boateng say. Okay. Now, let's have Frimpong Boateng and Akufo-Addo again. Thank you. Those who do not support Frimpong Boateng, their view is that, look, you, Frimpong Boateng, this whole Galamsey matter, it's on your head. It is your dereliction of duty. It is your poor leadership in the job that Akufo-Addo gave you that brought all of this Galamsey crisis, including running an anti-Galamsey campaign for the government, whilst your son was also mining, as he said to me, that Jojo had a mining license. So there's a strong view like that. They think that Frimpong Boateng should be the last person to talk about Galamsey and should be the last person to talk about the MPP government because a responsibility was given to you and you failed woefully. It is your failure that brought all of these things together. If you were having these difficulties at the Galamsey, how often did you brief the presidents? Those who know the inside story say that he didn't, etc., etc. And then they also say that Frimpong Boateng is not able to hold himself to his failures because based on your failures, the president told you that I will not repeat you as a minister. The story is that he was flabbergasted by the information and he was unable to hold himself together in the way that he should have, according to the story. So if all of these things has happened, you're Frimpong Boateng, it's time for you to keep quiet, wait for the MPP Congress, and then let's see what happens. What are you going to say? You've never been a member of parliament for the party. You have rather benefited from the party. You have not done anything for the party. Kufuor made you Korle Bu Teaching Hospital chief executive. You failed woefully. And the Kufuor government's administration's record at Korle Bu is bad because you, Frimpong Boateng, you were the chief executive that Kufuor trusted and appointed you over there. There are people who are saying all of these things. There are people who had Ghana Health Service from the 2007-2008 who were very concerned about Frimpong Boateng's leadership. Frimpong Boateng's leadership as Korle Bu was said to be so poor that after he left the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital CEO and went back to cardio, some machinations in cardio, the same baby that he founded, got him out of the hospital because they don't like his leadership. This is Frimpong Boateng we are talking about. And then Akufo-Addo ignores all of these things and makes you a minister. And there again, poor leadership is showing again. And then now you come and say, oh, so this is people are divided. The Nyauta group think that he's speaking the truth. This is the MPP is terrible. Those who are analyzing it the other way say that Frimpong Boateng should be the last person to talk. What about sacking people from the party? Opinions are divided there again. The MPP has only 41% of the last election. They have the micro minority in parliament. They don't have numbers. Is that the time to be removing people from the government? That's a strong opinion. The reverse opinion is that forget about that. Party discipline is more important. Check out the NDC. Even Mrs. Rawlings, the founder's wife, they let her go. Alote Jacobs, they let Alote Jacobs go when they were in opposition. And then they let my friend who used to come here, what's his name? Kokwa Anyido, who is another, they let him go. And then this Tubiga, who used to come here. Yes, he's here too, they let him go. So opinions are divided. Now, what's our verdict? Let's give you a verdict now that is 10 minutes at the top of the hour, 9 o'clock. We'll speak to Miracles for 10 minutes, and then we go straight to the big interview with Abena Osai. Our verdict over here is quoting Professor Mills. He says, "Do fiasem. Whether it's Frimpong Boateng is right, Frimpong Boateng is wrong. Is it your fiasem? Di ufe asem." That's the end of our editorial. Let's take some text messages on this one. And then by the time we're done, Miracles Aboagye has been doing, okay, this is the end of this video, yeah. Miracles Aboagye has been doing a public forum on assessment of the President John Mahama administration for 12 months. He met regular people, market women, and had a forum with them. He's been heavily criticized by the NDC on social media for conducting such, but we congratulate him that it's a patriotic streak, isn't it? He decides that everyone is doing President Mahama 1 year. Okay, let me go to the real people. Maybe we, the media, should have been doing that, but he did it. He's going to give us a report on that. Anziba, what are people saying?
Thank you very much, Paul. Coming from ranking member, he says Ken has won already. Victor Dombo says Ken is the ranking member. Prince Yabwa says, Honorable Abena Osei Asare, you are so good. Coming from Haj Z, he says, I really felt sad listening to the former minister speak yesterday. Someone who couldn't manage a full ministry making this irresponsible comments, forgetting that it was his actions and decisions that people like him took that pushed the party out of office. Bernard Danso has a lot to say. He says, good evening, Paul. The NPP is at a critical juncture in Ghana's political landscape, and it's essential to exercise caution when addressing internal issues. Rather than expelling members, the party should engage in constructive dialogue, as exemplified by inviting Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng to the disciplinary committee. This approach will foster unity and cooperation, which are vital for success in the 2028 elections. Moreover, it's crucial to remember that even the most challenging issues can be resolved through peaceful means, as the Akan proverb reminds us. By adopting this approach, the NPP can navigate its current difficulties and emerge stronger and more united. And lastly, coming from Hillary, and I quote, she says, Baumia all the way. Okay, over to you, Paul.
Okay, thank you very much. Miracles Aboagye is here. Good evening. Did you have a lonely forum?
No.
That's what the NDC said, you had a lonely forum.
Why not? I mean, they've been masking the reality for a very long time. And so once you start unmasking, it's a problem for them. But I mean, let me give you a quick background. So you see, the year ended. So I have these young guys that, you know, once we are going into the conversations, we would run the numbers. We are data people. We will not just come and start the conversation. And so we knew that once 12 months is gone, we need to start some discourse, do an appraisal, because basically the NDC has 48 months. And so we need to do an appraisal of their performance. Now, in the appraisal, when we're running the numbers, we realized something very interesting. What we noticed, first of all, we started with the NDC manifesto. That's the main, you know. But we noticed that the macro indicators were looking very good.
In Ghana today?
Oh, yes.
So
the
dollar and then the inflation.
Inflation, drastic. I don't think any country has seen inflation drop from that margin, 23% to 5% in a 12-month period.
Significant.
So it's major. Fuel prices have dropped from 14 to 10.
Currency has appreciated 40% and over.
Exactly. So in running the numbers, then we realized something very interesting. We realized that behind these macroeconomic indicators, of course, you know, once you look at the macro, you will look at the micro. Because the micro is where the people really are affected. So if the macro is doing well, the real output should be on the micro. So once we tested the macro and realized that, oh, the macro is really doing very well, then we realized that, there's a big disconnect between the macro and the micro. That all these indicators are looking really good, but when you go to the micro, it's terrible.
Well, but lower prices have been announced.
Then we got alarmed. So that's what everybody has been saying.
Prices have been announced. Shops are saying
everybody.
MTN sends a text that they're reducing their charges.
That's what everybody has been saying.
Yeah.
Then we said, okay, let's test it. Then we noticed something very astonishing. That indeed, there are some 10% of the population who are actually positively impacted by these macroeconomic indicators. But there are 90% of our population that are silently suffering, and they have no voice. And I'll tell you why. So you see, there are three categories of people who can say that in the past 12 months have benefited from the improved macroeconomy. The rich guy that walks into the bank or to the Forex Bureau to change dollars and travels to the US or the UK for vacation or to shop. For him, if he was going to need about $140,000 to get $10,000, now he needs $10,000 or $100,000 or $110,000 to get $10,000. That's from $30,000 savings into his pocket. So even if electricity bill is high for him, he has some excess cash from this side that he could use to pay. So that guy is good. The second category is the guy that pays fees at GIS or AIS, the people who are paying in dollars. I mean, they are making massive savings. Then there's this third guy. This third guy is a businessman that he did $140,000 to go and bring this water from Malaysia to come and sell in Ghana. And now probably needs $110,000 because dollar has dropped from 14 to 11. Now, when he brings it down, we notice something interesting. The guy is not so sure how long the dollar will stay at 11. So most of these business people are actually hedging their pricing at 12.5 and 13. But let's put that on the side. So these three categories of people, don't debate us. You are good. You are fine. Don't even fight us.
They are fine because Mahama is better.
No, because the macroeconomic indicators have improved.
Because Mahama has improved
comparatively, yes.
Yeah, okay.
So don't debate us. But then we notice that there is this guy that walks to the pump to go and buy fuel. He used to buy at 14, now he's buying at 10. He's okay. Then we said, let's go and check how many people, how many vehicles are even moving around. We realize that it's not even 5% of the population.
How?
Yes. I mean, how many cars are coming into the country even per annum? How many cars do we have across? 36 million. How many vehicles do we have in the DBL?
What the point you're making? But Trotro is
hang on. So I'm coming. So we said, okay, let's go to the 90% of the people. Then we noticed something interesting. So these are the 90%. The trader, the tomato seller, the ginger seller, the pepper seller, the teacher, the ministry's department agency, the civil servant. You have the nurse. You have the medical doctor, you have the student, you have the unemployed young person, you have the mechanic and the apprentice. So we said, how are these people in their cycle, in their value chain, how are they affected by a dollar moving from 14 to 10 or inflation moving from 23 to 5.4? Then we started testing it. And guess what? If you are a teacher, and I think if Apreku has let's even use the market woman. The market woman, Nancy Akusia, who is in Wasadompem, okay, who in 2024 was annually, after all the expenses, makes about 18,000 into her pocket, 2024. Indeed, in 2025, her income has increased from 18,000 to 19,000. 19,620 thereabout. But Paul, guess what?
How did her income increase?
Oh, I mean, of course, the sales have gone up between 2024 and 2025.
Okay.
She's selling, so she's seen some increase in income, okay? But guess what? In 2024, her annual expenditure on electricity was 3,600. One would have thought that once dollar has come down, once inflation has dropped, you know, PURs, you go and look at all their releases in the past, they will typically tell you that they are increasing electricity because of inflation and because of exchange rates. You know that.
Yes, correct.
Now, strangely, in 2025, when all these things are looking amazing, for Auntie Akusia, his electricity of 3,600 has shot up. From 3,600 to 4,613
by 1,
in 2026. Yes, because the government has increased electricity by 28%. Auntie Akosia is now paying 1,151 for water. She used to pay 960 because the government has increased water by 15%.
So the government's macroeconomic performance, you are saying that it's not commensurate with the government services delivery.
I'm not the one saying it. The numbers
the government services delivery are still high.
The numbers are saying. But you see, because of the 10% who are doing really good, the entire conversation has been about them. The CSOs, the elites, they are happy. It's true. They are okay. They're okay. And also I'm saying they shouldn't debate us on this. But Auntie Akosua, the market seller, this is her reality. The fact of the matter is that in 2024, she was paying $1,650 for her daughter Angela at University of Ghana. But in 2025, 2026, she's paying $2,350 for her daughter.
Because university have increased fees.
It's increased. Again, Auntie Akosua, who used to pay $6,200 for her daughter at Ivandi Hostel at Legon, is paying $7,800. Now, guess what? In 2024, when inflation was 23%, when dollar was 14% cedis, when fuel was 14 cedis, which we are all talking about. Basically, that is the entire conversation when it comes to the NDC performance. So you ask yourself, how does it impact on Auntie Akosua in Wasa Dompem? This is the impact. Auntie Akosua is actually saving in 2024. She was saving 5,590, which she is able to carry forward to pay for Angela's deposit for fees next academic year. But in 2026, when dollar has dropped from 14 to 10, when inflation has dropped from 23 to 5, when fuel has dropped from 14 to 10, Auntie Akosua is able to save just 3,705. Paul, this is her reality. These are numbers. And these numbers are being masked by the macro conversation. And so when we finish this, we did it for the market seller, we did it for teachers, Auntie Madam Martha in Dodowa is there, we did it for apprentice, we did it for so many people. Then we realized that there are some 90% of the population whose voices are not being heard. But we said, well, this could be Miracles and his voices view and the appraisal. So let's go to the people. That is what led to the People's Forum. So we went to the people and said, listen, this is what we've identified. What is your reality? And they validated it. Now, in our appraisal...
How did they validate it?
The numbers. I just shown you.
Okay.
I just shown you. Is it not true that even though dollar has dropped from 14 to 10, inflation has come from 20 to 5, electricity has been increased by 28%?
The petrol prices are down, so transportation
So
costs
why
are down.
is it that petrol prices have moved from 14 to 10, and yet in 2024, Accra to Kumasi, I was paying 90 cedis, but in 2025, I am paying 110.
An increase of 20 cedis?
That is the disconnect we are discussing.
When the price of petrol has come down.
Move to the.
So what do you attribute to it there?
No, but that's
it's a huge disconnect.
So
economic students must study it.
So all the People's Forum is saying is that government, after you've had a conversation around the 10%, it's time for you to now go and pay attention to the 90%. And the truth of the matter is that this gives validation to the economists and the theorists who are saying that our macroeconomic indicators that have improved are not real. To the extent that the real sectors are not being stimulated. Listen, go to the ministry, departments, and agencies, Paul. The whole 2025, go and check how much releases were given to them. So you see, government is stifling private sector. Government is not paying and releasing money to private sector. Now, that is the quickest way to deal with your inflation. When people don't have money in their pocket, they don't spend.
There's nothing to spend.
And when people are not spending, inflation will come down. And when you do that, the people will suffer.
But the macroeconomic figures will look okay.
But macroeconomy must impact micro. Macro is nonsense without micro improvement.
But macro cannot improve with macro in disarray.
That is it can't when you artificially manipulate it like we are seeing. So you see, that is
what I'm saying is that you have to start from the macro because that's what impacts the micro.
No, but if the macro is improved and it's not reflecting on the micro, then you have to be worried.
Yeah, that's correct.
Now you have a situation where 90% of your people, in reality, and these are numbers, in reality, as of you see, there are a few items that we could admit, especially the imported items, rice, oil, prices have gone down. But guess what, Paul? If you go to the 90% of the people, trust me, most of them, for example, the farmers, he farms his own maize, he farms his own plantain, he farms his own cassava, he sells them. When he makes money, his real bills are not rice and oil. Because basically he's eating bamboo from his maize. He's eating fufu from his cassava.
Real bills are what?
His real bills are water,
fees,
electricity, school fees.
You may be right because Cocoa Board have said that the dollar has impacted them and they don't have enough money.
I am right. Let's even look at some of the common commodities. Water, sachet water. You agree with me that maybe you do milk, but I don't do milk.
What is milk?
I mean, ideal milk and carnation milk.
Okay.
Not all of us have to take milk.
Okay. Yeah,
okay?
Mm-hmm.
Not all of us have to take milk. Mm-hmm. So we cannot use that as a baseline of analysis.
But has milk gone down?
No, it's gone up. Carton of milk has gone up.
I see.
Now,
single unit milk.
It's gone up.
Are you sure?
Yes, 100%. Sachet water. Mm-hmm. Sachet water. Everybody drinks sachet water. You agree?
Yes, correct.
Now, sachet water that used to sell at 8 cedis per pack. The bag.
The big one, yeah.
It's gone to 10.
Well, but every year prices move up.
That is
not
problem.
natural.
We are saying that if you have a sharp decline, you see, inflation coming down doesn't mean that prices won't go up. But inflation moving from 23 to 5 means that when you are seeing increase in prices, they must be gradual. They must be slow.
Yeah.
If you have farm milk moving from 3 to 5 cedis, that is not a reflection of your inflation moving from 23 to 5.
Crate of eggs.
55 to 70.
Crate of eggs now 70.
Yes. 10 of Milo.
Where is KKD's yam?
10 of Milo, 50 to 73.
You didn't bring KKD's yam. Where is it?
So you see, so the reality is that, go to the next slide of the commodities for me, Apreku. So the reality is that
cement has certainly gone down.
No, it's not
are
true.
you sure?
No,
I've seen adverts on TikTok saying cement is going down.
See, people go and pick all manner of receipts on TikTok and share. Listen,
yeah, I've seen that.
As of December 2024, 42.5 hour, and pay attention to the brand and 42.5 hour of gas was between 90 to 95 cedis. Now it's selling between 110 to 120.
Iron Ross, they say, has gone down.
It's gone down.
Iron Ross has gone down.
It's gone down.
Okay, all right.
Okay. But you see, there is a reason why you'd notice that dollar comes down, but you still have a lot of commodities on our market
still going up.
The reason is because if I'm an industry player, if I'm a manufacturer, and you bring dollar down, true, I bring some of my inputs from abroad, so I should naturally reduce it. But immediately I come and put it in my factory, you realize that you've increased electricity by 28%. So it's zero-sum effect. I'm a cold store owner. I go and buy imported chicken. That has gone down because dollar has gone down. But when I bring the chicken and put it in my cold store, when I'm supposed to reduce the prices for consumers, I realize that my electricity has gone up by 20%.
Oh, that's why they're unable to reduce the prices.
That is a reality.
As sharply as is expected.
That is the truth. The cocoa farmers.
So the GRA man's moving around telling people to reduce prices might not work.
How can you tell me to reduce price when my price will depend on my cost inputs? My pricing will depend on my cost input. Now, you go and look at the cocoa farmers. They are worse off.
That's what the cocoa board chairman said.
Because you promised them 6,000 per bag. You are giving them 3,600. 2024, they were getting 3,100. Now, how much they are able to buy with one bag of cocoa has reduced. So all we are saying is that government, you've done well. Some 10% of the people are happy. Those who are importing their own cars to come and drive, those who are paying school fees, they are okay, but they are just about 10%. 90% of your people are actually suffering. 12 months, enough of the honeymoon.
Okay.
It's time for you to pay attention to this majority of the people and let's deal with the realities and fix their situations for them.
I have a big interview. Let me take one text message from you, Anzaba, about what people are saying about miracles. Then miracles will wrap up and we're done.
Okay. Asasi Joe says, just call him from sleep and he will deliver. He is really a miracle man. May God guide you, said, and his miracles are watching. Okay.
Miracles. MPP 31st January, is it piping?
Oh yeah, I mean, Dr. Mamia just wrapped out the Northern Region at all.
That's your candidate?
Yes. And he's moving to Ashanti region. And
so Ashanti is the last.
Yes, Ashanti is the last region, and it's been amazing.
It's getting feisty at the end. We hope it will be fine.
No, I think the men are being separated from the boys at this point.
Oh, really?
Yes. I mean, most of the candidates have gone round. The delegates are unanimously saying that, listen, we need to win 2028. And Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is the man to give.
Somebody sends me a text to ask you just before you go, because we have a big interview with Abner Osai. That ask miracles. His candidate lost the. Oh my goodness. Would you take that?
Yes, I'll take it.
His candidate lost all the Zongo communities in 2024, and he's still campaigning. I don't think that he can win something like that. Did candidate lose Zongo communities?
That's not true. I think I've heard Honorable Brian actually.
Brian Champo said that. It's all over.
It's misleading. It's false. The data doesn't support. I have the data I'll share with you. So actually, what happened is that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia rather increased MPP's performance in the Zongo communities by about 10%.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, go and compare to
because the information is huge.
The data is here.
You send it to my people.
I've already shared the data with him directly. I've shared with Honorable Brian Acheampong directly.
That's better.
It's a complete misrepresentation. It's a complete misleading. But of course, when somebody is competing you, he has to find ways and means to undo you. Dr. Mahmoud Bamia's performance in Zongo communities is like going to Ho or Kwandu. It's not a strong area. But Dr. Mahmoud Bamia's performance in 2024 is the best in the Zongo communities for the MPP since 1992. And the data is there. Numbers, I'm a data guy.
Okay, so can you send it to my producer?
Yes, I'm forwarding it to our producer.
We'll look at it. Okay. All right, Miracles, we'll see you again. We'll see you again very soon. Okay, viewers, now we'll take a short break. When we come back, Minister of State, Ministry of Finance, and the spectacular lady you see at the Public Accounts Committee asking all the questions and doing the Maradona to people who have stolen. Hey, did I speak well? To people who we allege, we think may have stolen some money of the state. Stolen is also a bad word. It's people who may have misappropriated. Abna Osasari is joining us for a political conversation. But of course, we'll ask her questions about Public Accounts Committee. After the break, that's our big interview.
Are you a headmaster, headmistress, parent, teacher, or an educator looking for high-quality textbooks for preschool, primary, and junior high school students? Look no further than Advocate Publishing Company. Advocate Publishing Company is a leading publisher of educational materials in Ghana that publishes very engaging, interactive, and comprehensive textbooks that meet the needs of students, teachers, and parents. Our textbooks are thoroughly published to make learning fun and easy. They are also designed to stimulate critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity in students. Make Advocate Publishing your preferred choice for all your educational needs. Explore our range of textbooks and educational resources. Visit us at the old GNTC yard near Kingsway, Accra. You can contact us on 0503 786 776 or 02408 06354, also 0531 600 and connect with us on Instagram, X, and Facebook at Advo Publishing. Don't settle for less. Choose the best. Advocate Publishing Company, empowering young minds one textbook at a time. Thinking publishing, think Advocate Publishing.
The festive season is here again, and your most preferred estate partner is giving you 25% discount on land sale. Yes, for our Bronya Asase promo, Estate Masters is offering this massive discount for outright purchases. This includes free indenture, free site plan, and a free site visit. So what are you waiting for? Rush now and secure a plot of land while it is still hot. Reach out to us using the numbers below or visit our website at www.estatemastersgh.com. Estate Masters, your most preferred estate partner.
Hello, my friends. My name is Calkit Toothpaste.
Wow.
I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky whiter, chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Calkits. Happy smile.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson, Asamo. Me didn't tum. Mr. Friend Kalika, just call me cockroach. Now, Mr. Friend me once now. Hey, that's you. Improve car. Yeah. Captain Mosquito, double the accent. Me did this sasso spray. Mr. Friend is sasso quell. Yeah, go to my sasso.
Come tum preko.
Do you still consider yourself a
Bia Hunte, a conubia to the toilet, or you hit a baby, Namusumra, as I say, you sub a cansum, Mampuntum Abrabum. A dear hidden Edinisano. Ah? A dear hidden Edinisano. What an a woman Santa Mai say you two for. One I will say Santa Mai or Tom, I be a one country. A Santa Mai said, a woo two for, no two for two. Now, you see, Sebio, one and none more mobile, San Quasia will come to Sosan Kenda, Kunyaka Siwi, and get a hole. Most sons and full solo. You broke on your name, Tia, nay, Sonia Maso, or two for you have limited power. You have limited power. Asante is nothing. See, 2 million Santibium, 2 million Dimensia Bium. Your Hina Quasia, we are Quasiam Penny Pa. I was a Kundan Ku to Chine, Winnimansa, Ube DNA men Watem. Quasia been a Tamo Quabruchi, but not had Dijantra for, Kichu Quasia taxi, and your Tamo. And I'll buy the Demarco, your dear. What do Jimmy to when no can so pro? Quasia, Jimmy, one and then go to be a good no can kind to one hour no cow. A boa, why were no bassan and Quasia Kika? Jimmy Forbin on motor almost so. Me papa on Jimmy so back as I say. Unniminansa, when you qua. Nansia, Ochoba, I said Tamoko Abruchi, a boa. I don't want to get on show. The moment they say you're a leader, you speak like a god, you speak like a mad dog. Why when Nimun comes, say be a car, on an Ghana and Quasia corruption, you took our money, you have not paid. A Kurobianka was all that jail. Look at that Lumba, Australian bought wig and time in Ghana, a Jantranium, since so born, you want to name that Lumba or Ghana. When we say we lead any positive pact? No. Or Chairman Quasia for the time, we do not have a Quasia Jantranium.
And welcome back to the show into another segment. The Honorable Abna Osei. What was your nickname in school? Did you have any?
I don't want to go there.
Okay. Many have congratulated you for the work at the Public Accounts Committee. What they usually say is that, hey, this small girl, she's hard, that kind of thing. What have you heard? What have your family people heard about how people are describing your work at the Public Accounts Committee?
You have good evening to our listeners and our viewers as well. You have both the nice ones and then the not too nice ones. But I always tell my family that I've been given a duty and I have to perform the duty to the best of my ability. At the end of the day, with time, people will get to know and see who the real Abna Osei is. I just take everything so serious. And I make sure I discharge my mandate to the best of my ability.
What is helping you to achieve such great results? Is it your background in accounting? Because it looks like you bring it up quite a bit, and it's a very strong part of your presentation, which has really helped the committee.
It's a lot of things. One, I believe firmly in my Christian faith, and I believe that wherever I am, it's just by God's grace. And also, I prepare.
Mm-hmm.
I prepare. I ask. I go around asking relevant questions, and then I also ask for help in preparing. And so once you do that, it's not just you, but then you have an aggregate of support from various places, and then that also helps me.
Do you miss the people at the Ministry of Finance?
Oh, after working with them for 8 years, clearly, yes. You do miss them, and how they have also supported you in getting to where you are. Yes, you do miss them, and I wish them well.
Do you talk to them sometimes? Do you ask them questions sometimes?
Oh, we get to meet with them through the various committees, and so we do that a lot through the Public Accounts Committee, through other committees that.
What do they say when they see you? Former minister, madam?
Oh yes, I mean the same. They call me Honorable Abna. Hey, Honorable Abna, I saw you here, I saw you there, and it's.
Do you want to go back there?
Certainly, I want our party to come back to power, and then.
And in that case, do you want to go back there?
Yes.
I see. That's interesting.
Because I believe I still have a lot to deliver, and I have a lot to share with the nation in terms of my expertise and my experience as well.
January 2026 is an important month calendar for the New Patriotic Party, your party. Now it's 17 or so days to go, and the party will have to elect a new leader. The last leader, Mahamudu Bawumia, lost the election of 2024. And he's still a contestant for this one, an obvious front runner. In the last 2023 contest, you were applauded in some areas, berated in other areas for choosing to support Alanche Martin. You were seen in an Ashanti region walk that created a lot of news.
It was a Greater Accra.
Was it Greater Accra?
Yes, the Greater
News
Accra.
conversation about, at that time, were you Minister of State?
I was the Deputy Minister.
Yes, hey, the Deputy Minister is supporting Alan. Hey, the Deputy Minister, they say that his family is friends with Alan. Hey, this girl, hey, blah, blah, blah. News reporters reported that the situation affected your campaign in your constituency and it was tougher than you expected, but eventually you sailed through, etc., etc. Now you are doing it again. You are supporting. So it was not surprising that you are not backing Mahamudu Bawumia. But then, among the rest, you chosen Kennedy Japan, former colleague member of Boeing Parliament when he was there, when he first came. Yes, 2017 he was there.
Yes.
So did you sit on a committee with him at all in Parliament?
No, I didn't sit on any committee.
He was in Defense and Interior.
Yes, but I got the opportunity to interact with him a lot through the ministry and also in Parliament. You know, he's an easygoing person, and you can just sit and chat with him like I'm chatting with everybody.
So why are you backing him to be the flag bearer of the NPP?
Why am I backing him to be the flag bearer? You know, Paul, after the elections, we all saw the results. We're all not happy, and we wish things could have been done differently. And so what I did was to go down to my constituents, because for me, I believe that for us to win any election, you will need an aggregation of minds, sentiments, ideas. So then I went back to my people. I asked them where we faltered. What can we do differently to make sure that we don't experience that kind of defeat again? And then they told me that there are quite a number of things that they felt we did not do right. One was we did not listen to their sentiments, how they felt.
About governance?
About governance, about issues at that current moment. I've been to a number of communities. They have also sent delegations to me. I did not do it alone. For some, I did with my constituency executives as well. And they're asking that, Honorable, we want you to bring to us Kennedy Japan, and we make sure we support you for this constituency to win. You know, it starts from the constituency. Every win will have to start from a base. And I believe that my people have given me the opportunity to serve them. I ought to listen to them. After that, I have also assessed the candidates. Currently, the sentiments around the country is that they want someone who is very pragmatic, someone who says it as it is, and someone who can bring discipline into our party. Because personally, I feel that the discipline level in our party has gone down.
When you say discipline, what do you mean? You mean the grassroots don't respect the elders, or the middle level don't?
You know, in every party there are structures, there are systems. And many times of late, you see that the systems, the structures are not working as it's supposed to work. And you know, there are some, everybody stands for something. And for him, he stands for, very honest about the way he feels about everything. And because of his whole demeanor, he also instills discipline. He stands for discipline. And for me, I believe that if we should work with honesty and discipline in our party, this will draw the teeming youth. Because clearly, when you look at the pattern of voting in this country now, the youth form a chunk of it.
You mean 20 to 45?
Yeah. And they, for one reason or the other, they don't stick to one party per se. They look at the sentiment, they look at what is going on. Currently, what do they want? They want jobs. They want jobs. And this is a person going around talking about jobs, opening our eyes to the various opportunities that one can have. 2, he's a businessman. He's a businessman. Clearly, I have been in government for 8 years. And I know that government alone cannot shoulder the burden of developing a nation. You need the private sector. He's gone through that ranks. He knows it. He's done business in this country. And I believe that the industrialization drive that we started through our 1D, 1F and other equally important policies, we'll be able to champion that and bring a lot more ideas on board. He came to my constituency and he opened their eyes to the various possibilities that one can achieve.
I've seen Kennedy Japan do that. He holds a bottle and says,
he brought
this bottle could have been done
coconuts,
here.
he brought cassava, and, you know, these things. They were talking about it. Oh, Madam Udim said, Honorable, say, you bet me the Kubea Chaku. And they were excited about it. You know, igniting that possibility in other people that, hey, I can do this, I can do that. Every year, close to 150,000 graduates come out of our universities. Government alone cannot shoulder them. Look at the compensation budget for governments now. More than 90 billion. How much of the revenue do you raise? And that is why I believe that this time the sentiment on the ground is that we need someone who will create jobs, someone who is pragmatic and can instill discipline. And for me, he stands tall in that regard. And that is why I would want to urge the youth, the delegates, and all of us to give him that chance.
I'll be asking you about whether he has any negatives, because some people have pointed to a few things. But before that, when we say that Kennedy Japan is able to redeem all of these things with his acumen for entrepreneurship and all of that, it makes it quite simplistic. Does it mean we have been on the wrong path for the last nearly 70 years? That Kufuor's 8 years, we are now suddenly finding somebody who has the magic wand?
I said that he's going to build on what the MPP government did.
Yeah, you mentioned 1D,
because
1F.
there's the 1D, 1F and other opportunities that were given to businesses. But I believe that where he's coming from, with that background, you know, everybody comes with a plus from his or her background. I come with a plus from my background to the Public Accounts Committee. And so for me, that background that he has, he's done it before. He has various businesses around. And sometimes I listen to people, na cold store, na this, na that. But you must start from somewhere and replicate that idea on a bigger scale, which is the nation. And for someone who has been able to sustain certain businesses for this while, given that opportunity, given that support with the people around him and the party, I strongly believe that he can do that for the nation.
That he's a candidate, yeah.
Where we are, we need jobs. And consistently, that is what he's showing us. He's opening our eyes to the various opportunities. But then you need a bit of that support from government to enable the private sector also create that wealth that we are looking for to make sure it happens. That is what the youth are calling for, jobs. And a candidate has shown us through his own experience and through what we believe he can do, and to make that possible for us. Let's give him that chance.
That's quite interesting. Let's talk about what people have pointed to as Kennedy Japon's negatives. Atachian was once heard saying that Kennedy Japan cannot represent Ghana effectively at the United Nations. Some have said he doesn't look presidential, that he's not a presidential material, that he doesn't have sufficient PhD in economics or in something, he's not a big lawyer, and he doesn't fit the bill of a former Ghanaian president, Kwame Nkrumah, Busia, Lehman, Rawlings. Well, I don't know how Rawlings fits into what I'm trying to say, but yes, Rawlings, perhaps that gives Kennedy Japan a certain line to toe that he's the next Rawlings. But yes, so people think generally all the presidents up to Rawlings, jump Rawlings to Kufuor, Professor Mills, John Mahama, Nana Akufo-Addo. But if you take Rawlings out, Kennedy Japan does not fit into this bill.
When you say fit,
that's what they are saying.
What do you
he's
mean
not presidential. All of these names, take Rawlings out again. All of these names are some presidential.
It is not about names. Now it's about who can get the work done, who can bring the results we are looking for. That is all they are asking for, and that is what they are looking for. It is not about names.
Or appearances and disposition.
Let me tell you this, that in the Bible, it says God uses the foolish things of this world to confound the wise. You may not see him as what you put as presidential, but if it is him God wants to use, nobody can.
You're convinced God wants to use him at this time?
I believe that we have cried unto our God. We are asking for someone who can help create jobs, someone who can bring, for my party, the discipline that ought to be in the party, so that together we can help make this nation. We build on what the Akufo-Addo government did, which I was part, and to make Ghana shine and rise above what it is now.
Let's take text messages from Anziba, our social media editor, see what questions people want to ask. Anziba, give us 3 or 4 if you can.
Thank you very much, Paul. Coming from Nick Nanaki Poku, he says, you choose discipline as the reason for supporting Ken, and when Ken has disrespected the rank and file of party, including respected former President Kufuor. So I'm wondering how you measure discipline. Master Planner Junior from Kintapo says, policy analyst, I agree with Honorable Abner that government alone cannot shoulder the employment of its citizens. We need the private sector to support the government. It is true that Honorable Kennedy Agyapong is a businessman. He should allow Dr. Bawumia to create the jobs at the government level, then he will also create the jobs at the private sector level. Governance is not business as usual. We need jobs, and Dr. Bawumia is the answer. And then lastly, coming from Stephen Tufo, he says, the Ghanaian community in Philadelphia, USA, we are all connected. Only Kennedy Agyapong can resurrect and bring NPP back to power. Over to you, Paul.
One here says that Paul, Abena Osai-Asare is a great lady, but she's never supported DMB. She supported Alan. Yeah, we said that at the beginning of the program. Okay, you talked about discipline, Honorable Minister. Now, Frimpong Boateng has come up for some conversations. You're a senior member of the party now. The party says they are taking steps, the National Executive, to remove him. As a member of the party, you have to side with the National Executive, isn't it, in the spirit of discipline?
Yes, in the spirit of discipline, the party has structures and systems to address such issues. So I believe that we should go through the party structure and system, and that is the discipline I'm talking about. We should not quickly jump into conclusion, but then go through the laid down procedures for any.
But he says he won't respond. He won't go to any party invitation.
But I strongly believe that for the party, we ought to do what we have to do, and then if the process is done with, you give the person that opportunity, and the person fails to attend upon the process or the systems or the structures in place, then you. But for now, I strongly believe that the person should be able to go through, irrespective of who you are, go through the laid down structures and systems. And that is the only way we can make our party better and stronger. And then we should also find out what is making the person behave the way he or she is behaving. Is there something, because sometimes we go beyond that to speak to the person and get closer to the person, ask the person in confidence what is happening, because there are lots of background negotiations that we do or have before we even come out there. So I believe we should employ all these things. But the most important thing is that we should follow the laid down procedures in the party and make sure we come to an.
So you will urge Frimpong Boateng to respond to party's invitation?
Well, I have a very good relationship with Professor Frimpong Boateng, and I will urge him that whatever it is, that because he only wants, at the end of the day, we all
think he wants to be heard.
We all want a strong party, a party that hears us when we talk, and then a party that listens. And so I believe that if that is what he really wants, then he should agree to the processes and go through the process. And in doing so, whatever grievance or whatever it is that he wants to share with the party to make the party better than what it is now, he can achieve that, or he'll be able to achieve that if he involves himself in that process.
Apart from supporting Kennedy Agyapong, do you also believe it's 17 days to go that he will win?
I mentioned to you that for every, at the end of the day, it will be an aggregation of all the results in the various constituencies. So every win starts from a constituency. For my constituency, I am more than convinced. And because I have been to them, I have been to the delegates, and this is what they are telling me. And when you listen to sentiments on the ground, it's about sentiments on the ground. Somebody, the man at the for the moment, let me tell you that Paul, all the other aspirants are very good, and they are all capable. But then we want power, and the man at the moment, the man that majority of the people feel should be given that opportunity to serve in that regard, is Kennedy Agyapong.
So the choice of Kennedy is also influenced by his attraction to the youth for eventual vote winning.
For a political party to win, it is not just your base. It's not just your support. You must be somebody who cuts across. And he's that kind of person who cuts across because of what he stands for. Sometimes the way he expresses his honesty, the way he expresses his sentiments may not be the usual way that people feel should be done. But in another vein, that is what other people, a section of the citizens also like. Someone who is brute, someone who is very honest and can say it as it is and not be politically fine about things. Now we are moving from that. Look at Trump.
Trump?
Yeah, no,
it looks like it's a terrible example.
No, I'm saying, no, it's about not every time that you have to be politically correct, fine about things. But you must be...
The youth are looking for that. They're demanding that.
You must be brave. You must say it as it is. And if in saying it as it is, you can get the results or get the work done, gladly, the youth who now form a majority of the voting population will be happy to embrace that.
There's another point that those who support Kennedy talk about, that he will be able to sack ministers, he will be able to discipline his appointees, that the Ghanaian people are looking for that president who can take a whip and sack the minister. Have you heard that too? Does it form part of your thinking? You have been a minister before. Do you want a president who can sack a minister, sack the minister?
It is not about a president who can sack a minister, but a president who can look in the face of a minister when the minister is messing up and say, no, you can't continue this way. And I believe that is what many people are looking for. Someone who can be able to say that, no, this is not how we should run things. And I don't think it is somebody who will unilaterally take a decision. No, he's not that kind of person. He's not that kind of person. When it's so obvious that the minister is not performing, it's so obvious that the minister is out of touch with the people. Because once you lose touch with the people, you are finished, you are gone. And that is what we don't want to do. And Ghanaians feel that, well, currently, many Ghanaians feel Kennedy Agyapong is in touch with the people by the way he expresses his views, by the way what he stands for. And I believe that if someone like this has that love from the Ghanaian population, the MPP ought to give him that chance, because it's power that we want in 2028, and we believe that he stands a better chance of winning power for the MPP in 2028.
How's your relationship with your colleagues from the ministry or those who work around the ministry who are big in support of Dr. Bawumia Gideon Boako? I refer to Mohamed Amin Anta. These are all Dr. Bawumia people. Yes. And these are all Ministry of Finance and party economic policy analysts. What's your relationship with them? Is it broken down?
No, we have a very good, Dr. Amin Anta, we talk, we have a very good relationship with each other. Dr. Boako, and for Dr. Boako, I have a little bone to pick with him, because I always tell him that he took the seat away from my colleague, Dr. Frida
Prempeh.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. You were interested in that seat.
We have that beef, and then, yes, but yes. But it's for us. It's about choices. Otherwise, the party wouldn't have open nominations. The party would have said, it's just this person. But it's about choices, and we are free, to choose whoever we believe can bring the party into power, back into power. And so that doesn't hurt our relationship at all. At the end of the day, it is for the good of the party. And when we win, it is not this person or that person that has won, but at the end of the day, it's the MPP party that has won. So whoever, anybody at all is supporting, we are all free to do that. But when it comes to doing the work of Parliament, we see ourselves as one, and we pursue that agenda for the party.
If Kennedy Agyapong was not running, who would you support among the other candidates?
But Kennedy Agyapong is running, so my support goes to him.
If he doesn't win, what happens?
Whoever wins, like I said, whoever wins, we see ourselves as one party. We've gone through the process. We've elected a flag bearer, and we will all support the flag bearer to make sure we win power. But I believe that Kennedy Agyapong stands a better chance of winning power for us in 2028. So I'll urge all and sundry to join us to make that happen. Paul, in 2028, it presents a unique opportunity for us because, one, the NDC is also going to present a new candidate. Mm-hmm. So it's not about a candidate who has been marketed before or not. They are all, so it's giving us that opportunity. Why not we listen to the sentiments on the ground? Bring in someone who is pragmatic, brutally honest, and will instill that discipline that we need, one, as a party, and two, as a nation.
Thank you very much. Abena Osei, former Minister of Finance. Anziba, give us 2 more messages, and then she'll give us her final words, and we're done.
People coming from Bennett Danso, he says, Paul, industrialization is the message, and the message is industrialization. And the man to execute that is Honorable Kennedy Agyapong. And then lastly, coming from Asasi Joe, he says, what is Honorable's measure of discipline? Because she's very surprised. Ken has called us fools. Where was the discipline in that? Over to you, Paul.
What's the final word on this one? That's this, he's done this, he's done that. But it is not in isolation. Mm-hmm. Like I said, the way he expresses his sentiments sometimes. But let me tell you that, Paul, look at from the time he decided to contest, and look at his demeanor and look at everything. He's someone who listens. Mm-hmm. Yes, you want to communicate a certain issue. You want to be honest about things. But it's not every time that you have to show it in certain ways that may offend a lot of people. But at the same time, you should be able to state your point. And clearly, he's shown us that he's someone who listens. If Ghanaian people feel that your way of coming out is too harsh, how do I make it such that I carry the same message, but then in a way that people will listen? And clearly, you can tell that consistently he is improving when it comes to, we all want, the way he is in terms of he being brutally honest about things. And so if you have somebody who listens this way and wants to work, because we are all not perfect. We must admit that we are all not perfect. We all come from different backgrounds. And so in expressing views, in expressing things, we may do it in ways that may not all the time be the norm or the comfortable way that people want to feel or see. But then, he's been told, and he's working on it.
So there's an acceptance that something has to be worked on.
Like I keep saying,
something has to be improved.
Some of the videos that people play out, they take it out of context because it is in response to a particular situation, a particular event occurring. And so when you take it out of context and you just play it that way, you may not understand. But then when you look at the whole context in which he said what he said or did what he did, maybe, like I said, it may not be the usual way that people would want others to express their views. But then, let's also make it a point that we encourage people with diverse views to come out. And that is the only way we can build our party, because it shouldn't be just what we want to hear, but it's what we want to do to make the party better, attractive, and fit for purpose, and above all, win the 2028 election. And I believe that Honorable Kennedy Akompreko Ejapon stands that chance. So let us support him and give him that opportunity to make it happen for the MPP and for the people of Ghana.
That's happening. Sorry, thank you very much. We'll take a short break. When we come back, the Honorable Ntim Fordjour is an unhappy man because he believes that the LGBT is being slipped back into the education curricula. He's been talking about that. We'll be speaking to him in an exclusive session now. You may have heard him earlier this evening on Joy FM's PM Express. He's here now, and we'll ask him all the questions. Maybe we'll try and ask better questions today. All right. Thank you very much, Honorable Abada Osei.
Thank you for having me.
Excellent. We'll be right back after the break. This is Good Evening Ghana and it's live.
Watch it, not learning. Missy, watch and learn. Makwaya Besisia. A bozig. I can say no, ya conati, and the more drink woman. Hey, but I didn't mean. Oh, sorry. She knew her old dish. Eji, Dabio, baby womb. Ready? Hey, baby womb. Ah, Aji, I'll cause some discomfort. Sorry, well, uncle, where would the dad? Why your funeral?
Say a pessary insecticide GB at a user. Co pharmacy in a shop biam. No mum say a pharmacy supermarket and a shop ra. Na repedudu to a cotonwa. On for Royal Dutch and our Aerofield Trading. Effie spray with Daimwa.
In my line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste keeps me on top of my game and ensures my smile is always radiant and bright.
With the tiring nature of my job, we spend several hours under the scorching sun. To keep our teeth white and our breath fresh all the time, we use none other than Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. You're on a Kessie and in a kit one.
Samayo Kendini, a who be here, Semetra Sapapadia to a mammy manful. Kel Charcoal's natural ingredients, and a bomb is several buying, a man string, and a sansu mama hotel so a will bedroom.
Kel Charcoal Toothpaste.
Choose Kel Charcoal Toothpaste for anti-cavity, whiter teeth, and fresher breath all day. Available in 80 gram and 150 gram. Grab yours today.
Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved. Ghanaians voted for change again. With the economy at the center of everything.
This election is about the economy, stupid. It's not about all those other useless things.
Prices, jobs, wages, and trust. Today, we ask a simple question. What has 1 year delivered, and what is still only a promise?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, my uncles and fathers, taxi drivers, my mothers, market women and traders, my sisters, students that I see at the back there, and a very warm good evening to my friends from the media. Model has become very important because we are dealing with a government that basically double guesses itself and double guesses.
Reverend Itim Fojo has joined us, Member of Parliament for Asin Central, is it?
Asin South.
Asin South, Asin South. Reverend Itim Fojo, Member of Parliament for Asin South and the ranking member of the Defense Interior Committee in Parliament. Reverend also has another side. You know, he's a Reverend Minister. He was one of the promoters of the earlier anti-LGBT bill which Parliament passed in the 8th Parliament. He was one of the big promoters, but of course, Sam George took the center stage. Reverend Itim Fojo is unhappy about a document that has just popped up at the Ministry of Education. There's a lot of conversation on it on social media. Reverend, what document is it and what are you unhappy about?
Yeah, good evening, Paul. I'm really excited to be here on your show, and a good evening to our cherished viewers. It's really appalling, it's really disappointing that a very dangerous introduction has been smuggled into our schools. The introduction of LGBTQ elements, the education of sexuality related to LGBTQ promotion, and it didn't find expression in no main teaching and learning material than teacher manual. You know, so this teacher manual in physical education and health, the elective one, is the guide, the teaching guide, is the pedagogical guide, is what tells the teacher how and what you must teach your learners and your students. It also provides the framework of fundamental definitions and concepts within the subject and what you have to teach them. And when we do this, we break them in various weeks. So every week there's what you have to teach them. And rather sadly, the physical education and health elective for senior high schools in my hand, when you turn to page 3, the week 1 schedule, NDC have managed to smuggle in LGBT elements and now telling teachers that, for instance, gender identity, which in our constitution, in our 1992 Republican Constitution, the 4th Republican Constitution, and our laws, fundamental laws, recognize the binary nature of gender, being male and female assigned at birth. Now, here the definition they are asking the teachers to teach them. It refers to a person's deeply felt internal experience of gender, which may or may not correspond with the sex assigned at birth. So right at the beginning, you are confusing these young ones between the ages of 13 to 19, most vulnerable group of people who oftentimes become the victims. The age group studies have indicated become victims of this LGBT madness and confusion. You are further confusing them and promoting to them and letting them understand, because these are things you would want them to write back at you. When did
this document come?
This was produced in 2025 by the Ministry of Education. 2025.
Under the minister,
under this current government, NDC government. And these were recently distributed to schools. And these teachers have received them. And Paul, week 1 is already gone. So these teachers have already taught these students these strange, bizarre concepts. They have also further told them that sexual rights, a whole lot of definitions, the sexual rights definitions, and they are telling them that you can do anything as you feel, and you will be protected. There's no discrimination. I mean, very bizarre. And we're asking them, where did they get this concept from? Because you cannot be teaching students something that is not approved in the curriculum. And you cannot be smuggling in foreign and alien, diabolic, vile, evil concepts and introduce them to our schools, print them with taxpayers' money, distribute them. One NACA, under the Ministry of Education, is the body mandated to ensure that strange and unapproved contents don't get into our schools.
And this is a product of NACA?
This is a product of NACA. This is a product of NACA. You can see the front page is a NACA approved. And you see, the framework of approval, I have spent 4 years at the Ministry of Education as Deputy Minister. And we understand how this curriculum development and its implementation works. Any concept that has to be taught must first be developed into the curriculum. And when you develop the curriculum, you now have to produce teaching and learning material, teacher guide, teacher manual, and textbooks, supplementary books as well. And any material that must arise from the curriculum must be approved by NACA to ensure that it aligns with the framework provided within the curriculum. So if you come in to issue, we developed up to year 1 manual before we left office. So when NDC came into power, 2025, January, they started the development of the year 2 manual. And sometime around June, July last year, they were able to finish it, and then they printed it. The question is, which minister gave the approval? Who checked it? And which agency, which officer, the Director General of NACA, what job did he do in checking that all the textbooks and all the teacher manuals that have been printed and being authorized and distributed to schools meet the standards? So this is a deliberate attempt by government. Oh, LGBT agenda is not a low-level implementation. It's not a low-level agenda. It is a high-level agenda. And I am surprised that at a time when President Trump has even given a different dimension into how countries must even view LGBT matters, and even in his own country clamping down on the LGBT, he has further issued a foreign policy directive to all his envoys, all his ambassadors in various countries, that how they must even relate to other countries where they have been assigned, and that on basis where some countries even try to promote LGBT, it would provide basis for sanctions to be applied by the United States of America. So that should have been good news for President Mahama. This is a season where he should even be bold to preserve our conservative values. This is not the time that he should be introducing LGBT into our textbooks, into our schools. So the dangerous thing is that the parent who is sleeping because he knows that they've sent their wards to SHS, public schools, and they know even a private school textbook must be approved by NACA if it's a GS curriculum, and knows that, well, free SHS, NACA is there, Ministry of Education is there, they have the safeguards, they will ensure only approved content gets there, is sleeping, and their child is consuming this material. Teachers are being directed that this is the definitions that you must teach to promote LGBT, to promote transgender, to promote any absurd feelings that are not authorized by our constitution and recognized by our beliefs. And this dangerous introduction, as we speak, the president has not spoken about it. And recall that for the past 1 year, we introduced human sexual rights and family values bill again to Parliament. When it even passed the Gazette and found expression in the order paper, the next day there was an order from Jubilee House instructing the Speaker and the Majority Leader, Mahama Yariga, to remove it. Indeed, they removed it the next day.
Now say that again. The bill was announced.
The bill was listed on the order paper.
To start the process.
To start to be laid for first reading. And consequential referral to the committees to invite the sponsors for consideration. when it appeared, we couldn't take it that day. So we thought that perhaps we have many items on the order paper, and as the practice of the House is, the next day we will have the opportunity to take it. The next day we came, and it did not even find expression. It has been deleted. It had been Nicodemously deleted from the order paper. When we raised questions, they said, Honorable Mahama Ayariga, the majority leader, blamed it on Speaker. The Speaker said he knew nothing about the bill being advertised. So we had to wait for Speaker to come the following week to give his ruling. Speaker gave his ruling that there's nothing wrong with the bill and that it must come back. To date, any time we had raised it on the floor of Parliament several times, every week on week, when we meet our business committee, when we meet to approve business statements, we raise it, they keep pushing it away. They are even afraid to list it on the order paper.
Has Sam George been also raising
it? He has not raised anything. And Paul, what they intend to do is that until they exit IMF, they will not list it. They don't even want us to discuss the bill until they exit IMF.
What is the relationship between exiting IMF
because
at the middle of this year?
Because the indications they are giving is that even discussing these matters, because when the president made pronouncement that he was going to introduce his government-sponsored bill related to this matter to cure the mischiefs that stakeholders, an overwhelming 93% of Ghanaians want to cure, the kind of, the kind of reactions he got. Now, when was the last time you heard a president, state his commitment that he's going to state-sponsor a bill like this? Now, he zipped. He never mentioned it again. And even the one that was already had been passed in Parliament but faced controversies and had been agreed upon by President Mahama that when he comes to power, when he was in opposition, that the first thing he would do is to sign it into bill. Now he comes to power, and then he's even preventing it from being listed on the order paper. That is the deception of NDC. So you campaign on the propaganda and deception of the rhetorics that you are the party that abhors LGBT. Then you deceive Ghanaians to win their vote. And then when you win the vote, you put it into teacher manuals and distribute it to schools. Paul, this is in schools. So, you see, you remember the CSE and all its controversies. This was something they started way back 2013. We have all the UNFPA implementation framework and timelines, and even the conference on sexual rights, promotion that they held. President Mahama was there, his wife. We have all the statement they made and the amount of money, the millions, over $71 million voted for. We have all that. But eventually, when even excesses of that pilot found expression at the early parts of President Akufo-Addo's regime, the uproar, it wasn't teacher manual. It was just some conceptualized, idea in the framework. And the whole of Ghana was up in arms. There was never a time when, within the 8 years of President Mahama and the NPP, and
President Akufo-Addo.
President Akufo-Addo, thank you for correction, and within the period I was at Ministry of Education, that you would find any textbook, be it curriculum, be it textbook, be it teacher manual, or supplementary material approved by NACA with this stamp by NACA, containing these sexual observations.
Wow.
So what we are demanding is that, see, if I had not intercepted this, they would have just taught. And only God knows how many textbooks and other subjects contain such very diabolical introductions. So we are demanding the immediate recall of all such teacher manuals and TLMs that have already gone to the schools. Like this is already in the schools. We are demanding that Ministry of Education and NACA must withdraw all those textbooks. And as they withdraw, they must also ensure that they review all the textbooks and the teacher manuals in line with the curriculum that we approved. Their statement states that, indeed, this is not in the curriculum, meaning they've strengthened our position that we left a healthy, wholesome curriculum. So just develop teacher manual out of it. You have come to smuggle in, LGBT. So they must recall it and review it properly in line with our values before they redistribute it. And they should not forget. And as I speak, I've noticed that on the digital platforms and the online content, they have started changing some of the issues we raised. But what we are saying is that these books are already there. So we need a statement, proper statement directing the recall and sending these directives to the heads of schools, sending it to Charles, sending it to NAGRAT, because we spoke to NAGRAT. They are not even aware of any such, you know.
In the
they don't
teacher's
even
manual.
know. It's hidden.
But they all have it. NAGRAT has it.
Yes, but you see, the way it is hidden, you might not know. If you don't have the orientation about these sexualities and the terminologies and what they stand for, you might just blindly be teaching something. Because these teachers, we trained these teachers when the curriculum was developed. And so they know so if all of a sudden they are presented with a teacher guide and these definitions come up, if you are not quick to check, you will blindly be teaching it without knowing. You fall into the trap. And that is what many unsuspecting teachers have fallen into the past week. They've taught it. So in addition to their redrawing and to review all these portions, what we also demanded is that they must issue a directive for all the teachers teaching physical education and health to unlearn, to go back to correct those diabolical and dangerous
provision of binary.
Absolutely, and stick with the definition that gender is male or female as assigned at birth. And that is what, and all the other related concepts that time will not permit and the definitions for us to run through, they must correct them as a matter of urgency. And we must, the Committee on Education must send members to various sample schools to observe that unlearning process taking place, because it's very, very dangerous. Then again, we are asking the Minister for Education to answer some questions. When you look at the statement issued by NACA, it is bizarre, it is embarrassing. They don't even understand what they are talking about. They are trying to even downplay how integral teacher manual is in curriculum implementation. You can have the most fantastic and the finest curriculum, but if you don't have an effective teacher manual and training of the teachers to go with it, you will fail in your implementation.
The teacher manual is a conveyor belt that conveys the information in the curricula to the students.
That is the heart of the
method of doing it.
The method, that's what we call pedagogy. The way you must deliver the instructions, the fundamental concept, and how you must teach it. And so it is.
So this is actually more important than the curriculum. This is even
more important than you can have a fine curriculum. It is sitting there. How do you transmit the concepts within that framework to the classroom and deliver it in a way that the student will understand? That is what the teacher manual talks about. And so for them to even downplay the importance of teacher manual and to suggest in their statement that it is an optional teachers may or may not use, they should show us proof of a directive they sent to schools accompanying the distribution of the books that said that it was optional. You can ignore it.
Why are you putting it in? I don't understand. It's optional. That what?
And and there are no textbooks for this. So that's all they have in the schools. So you can't say it is optional at this stage. Then another unfortunate observation I made from their statement is that they are attempting to shift blame to some CSOs. No, I've done my checks. This error is a deliberate and it's an agenda from the top. And they cannot. It will be most disingenuous. Oh yes, they mentioned TTEL, and I have worked with TTEL for all these years. TTEL is one of the really fantastic, development partners who have supported the Republic of Ghana, the Ministry of Education, and NACA in curriculum reform and curriculum development, and they are fantastic partners. You don't throw them under the bus. You don't want to sacrifice them because they didn't have any wrongdoing whatsoever. I've done my checks.
What did the statement say that TTEL
the statement indicated that it was TTEL that developed it, and then for them, they just gave it to TTEL to develop it, and it was TTEL that brought it, and NACA now reviewed it and saw that there were problems. No, that is a lie. It's a big lie. I wouldn't even call it disingenuous.
Why they saw the problems? Why have they distributed it?
It was a big lie, and I wouldn't even call it disingenuous because these books, NACA approved them, and NACA printed them, and NACA sent them to schools.
Yeah.
With GES, under the supervision of Ministry of Education. Before you print out, granted that you even give out some aspect of curriculum development or material to a third-party consultant. When they are done, you are the final reviewer. You must ensure you sign it off to do all your checks and your final quality assurance before you print it. And so it is the mandate of NACA to do these checks before. You didn't do it. Whatever you did, you sanctioned it, you smuggled it in, and then you sent it. and printed it and distributed it. Then now you turn around to blame an innocent, a fantastic a development partner that is doing their work, and they don't have any interest in these agenda that some politicians have. They are not politicians. So it was regrettable. It is most unfortunate the attempt by Ministry of Education and NACA to sacrifice TTL and throw them under the bus and to indict them. It is most unfair. They must withdraw it because it is not something that must be accepted. I'm sure TTL will have to take steps to purge themselves. But I know the integrity of TTL, and I know they didn't do this. Now, the third thing is that they claim that they detected it, and they are taking steps to correct it. Paul, it took
what does that mean, taking steps to correct
it? It took us this morning to raise alarm. Ministry of Education and NACA had never, at any point in time, taken any steps whatsoever. They should show us proof that they sent any directive to the schools that they had identified that they wrongfully sent textbooks. So they willfully sent these erroneous, diabolical, poisonous, LGBT-laced teaching manuals to the schools to poison the minds of our adolescents. And now that we have raised it today, they must concede in all honesty that we have caught them and they are going to do the right thing. They will recall it. They won't shift blame to any innocent third-party development partner. But this is their creation. This is their deliberate introduction, and it is part of their grand LGBT agenda. And we are appalled. And after all this is said and done, we will hold NACA and the minister before Parliament to answer questions on how this will be rectified. But we need to have a comprehensive review of every textbook. So we are urging teachers, be the gatekeepers. Every teaching and learning material that is brought to you, you have to take a look, and where you have questions, quickly raise it, because we can't trust NDC. We can't trust President Mahama and his government that we can go to sleep and that they will produce appropriate content for our learners without compromising on the LGBT agenda.
Quite serious. And it looks like a conversation that's just starting. Answer, what are people saying about this LGBT matter in the teachers' curriculum?
Very much from sentiment says teacher manual is not optional. They are directly linked to lesson plans. Stephen Odonko says, God bless you, Reverend and Team Fojo. The People's Power says he feels like Mahama and the NDC have scammed him. And then lastly, coming from Adams, he says, lawyer Haruna once said that a tortoise will ride on an elephant at dawn, not knowing this would lead to LGBTQ. Over to you, Paul.
Let's talk now about politics, Dr. Ntim Fojo. This is NPP politics of January 31. You stand with Dr. Bawumia, do you? Do you see a threat of something changing?
Not at all. We are very confident that the very delegates who are calling for Dr. Bawumia to be presented again to Ghanaians will stay true and true to their promise. Because they are very poised, and these are very experienced politicians. Sometimes some people take delegates for granted and think that they don't know what they are talking. Delegates know what they are talking about. And delegates are calling for Dr. Bawumia. Delegates are seasoned. Some of them got into politics way before some of us members of parliament came into politics. And so they understand the dynamics. When they go to the grounds, when they go to the streets, when they visit the markets, when they're going to their farms, in their schools, wherever they apply their endeavors, what they hear, the comment they hear, is that Dr. Bawumia is the surest candidate to win us power in 2028. I have a very fantastic relationship with all the contestants, all the other 4 contestants. You know, Honorable Kennedy Japon is my own brother. Honorable Dr. Duchum was my boss at Ministry of Education. Honorable Dr. Brian Lechampon is my very good friend. And Engineer Kwame Japon is a man I admire so much. I have a very fantastic relationship with all of them. And Paul, I say to you that even the weakest among them is much stronger than the strongest among those who want to lead NDC after President John Mahama. So indeed we have the men. But at this point in time, we're talking about power. You see, there's a reason why President Mahama garnered less than 40%. If you check the figures, in 2016, he was a sitting president, but he got less than 40%.
They got 44%.
In 2016. Yeah. You can check the figures again. It was less. In 2024, he he didn't even get up to, the numbers indicate around 42%, if I'm right. You see, so he started from somewhere. He lost over 1 million votes. The dynamics at the time did not want him. And then, as time went on, NDC saw that no, we need to understand why we lost. If we don't understand why we lost, we will change the candidates and miss the point. So anyone who in MPP at this point in time thinks that we need to change our candidates and that our candidate was the reason why we lost has failed to understand the reason why Ghanaians voted us out. If you really take time to appreciate why the Ghanaian voter rejected MPP in 2024, you would want to now take steps to respond to if you call it some weaknesses or shortfalls or certain things we did which didn't really sit well with the Ghanaian, which has nothing to do with the candidate you presented. So if you take time to correct those things and you take time to form a solid policy alternative that is credible with consistent candidates, then you are sure that you're going to win. But if you change your candidate, you have missed a point. Dr. Bawumia stands tall among all the candidates that we have. Dr. Bawumia is the most experienced in terms of public service, over 8 years as vice president, and not just any ordinary vice president, the highest performing vice president, not only in the country, but in the SAP region. And he is a man that has sacrificed for the grassroots. When we're talking about, some people say we want somebody who's very bold. What is more bold than someone when we needed someone to stand in Supreme Court, in the witness box for 8 months, and we had none. We had astute lawyers, we had astute businessmen, we had very wealthy people, we had highly respected people, but when we had none, it was Dr. Bawumia who stepped in. And he put his reputation on the line. He could have ended his political career with that step, but he sustained it because of his love for the grassroots. He took the bullet for the party. He had to go around various campuses connecting. So if we are talking about somebody who cuts across, none of these fine gentlemen cuts across the section of our population, differences of opinion, more than Dr. Bawumia. So let's put religion aside. Let's put tribal sentiment aside. Let's put personal, and idiosyncrasies aside. And if we are rationally and objectively looking for power, then if you change this fantastic candidate, Dr. Bawumia, you have missed the point. And you are going to even suffer worse defeat than that. If you go into 2028 polls today, let me just take you back in history. In 2000, when people went to polls, they liked President Jerry John Rawlings so much that in 92 they voted overwhelmingly for him. 96 they voted for him against President Kufuor. 2000 when they went to the polls, they couldn't find that fine gentleman again. Now they saw, oh, but yeah, we've seen President Kufuor. He's come to us before. We like him. We're not ready for him in the last 4 years. But 2000, President Jerry is not around. He is going to be the one. Though we know President Mills had been the vice president, he's just appeared on it. Let's give him some time. They voted for him. So in the same way, it went on and on. In recent one President Mahama, a president who had suffered the worst defeat a certain president had ever, suffered. He came again. And the people saw that in 2024, President Akufo-Addo is not on the ballot. They have heard his songs, they've seen his T-shirts, they've seen his billboards, and it's President Mahama again, who has appeared about 3 times already, and this is the 4th time, and he's come to their village, he's come to meet them nationwide. So they know him. Dr. Bawumia, yes, he's vice president, just like President Mills was vice president. This is the first time he's appearing. And so let President Mahama come in at this point in time. Another time, he will come in. If you visit if 2 people are walking, an NDC man, an MPP man, and they are wearing a party T-shirts, they are very much likely to wear President Mahama's T-shirts and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's T-shirts. As they walk around, whether you're going to the farm or going to the streets or going to church or going to the markets, who are they marketing? They are marketing President Mahama and they are marketing Dr. Bawumia. These are the 2 most marketed political figures of our time now. And so if you go into, and it's going to continue till 2028. So when you go into 2028 and fancy a situation where any of the leading persons they are projecting in NDC becomes the flag bearer, he is now going to sell himself even to his own party people and to sell himself to floating voters and to sell himself to the whole of Ghana, to every village and every hamlet and town, urban area in this country. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has already been marketed, and people they know him, they are familiar with him, and his idea of job creation, his idea of empowering grassroots, his idea of ensuring we transform our economic fortunes and events have all exonerated him. Now, good for reserve, for instance, even NDC stalwarts credited to Dr. Bawumia.
Yes,
good for oil, they credited to him. And even the very foundation that is sustaining the exchange rate, they credited to him. If not for Dr. Bawumia's idea to ensure we accumulate about 30 tons of gold, how could they have come to accumulate only 1 ton of gold in 1 year to have that kind of stability in exchange rates? And so when a man whose idea, one single idea, created over 900,000 jobs, those in the mobile money market, 900,000 jobs. So we are not talking about a few tens or hundreds of jobs. We are talking about jobs at a mass scale. So he has demonstrated before, and Ghanaians have the confidence, stakeholders have the confidence in him. And that is why I'm a pastor, and I'm a Khan. And I say that it's not about Khan, it's not about being a Christian or being a pastor, but it's about the most competent. It's about the winnable and the most formidable. And I find Dr. Bawumia checking all those boxes. And with the greatest of respect to all the 4 fine gentlemen, one of whom is my friend, and 3 of whom are my very good friends.
Now, the question about religion is important. Brother. So let me ask you, you are a Reverend Minister. There's been prophecies from your colleague pastors, both ways, but there's been prophecies that Kennedy Agyapong will be elected by Bernard Nelson. Eshen is a prophet. And there's been prophecies by Roger that Dr. Bawumia will be elected. There's been other prophecies by other people that Dr. Bawumia will be elected. Many people are confused that the same God of Abraham who spoke to Prophet X and Y and said this one is going to win. It happened in 2024. Some prophets said Dr. Bawumia was going to win, he didn't win. And some prophets said John Mahama was going to win, and he won. Should we take these things serious from the perspective of your background as a Reverend Minister?
See, in the Bible, you would recall an incident that happened where a young prophet was sent by God to a certain location with a specific instruction. He heard from God. He got there, finished his assignment. He was not supposed to eat anything. He was just supposed to return. Because that's what God told him. He heard from God. Then when he got there, another prophet, in this case even a senior prophet, more senior prophet, told him that, no, you are saying God told you should do so and so. But, you know, God has spoken to me. I'm also a senior prophet, and God has spoken to me that you should eat. And coming into an era where one God seems to have spoken to 2 people and giving them 2 opposite directions, this is not the first time. This is not the first time at all. But only one will be true. At the end of the day...
So God spoke to both of these in this
case,
Bible reference?
They all claimed that God spoke to them.
Who had God spoken to?
But in the end, it turned out that God had only spoken to one, and when he disobeyed, he got consumed.
So the other one who said he heard from God did not hear from God?
No, did not.
So it's not straightforward to hear from God. You can be deceived. You can think you've heard when you didn't hear.
So in this case, it turned out that the older prophets had not heard from God. But he said that he had heard from God.
What was his interest in saying this prophet should eat?
Because he had an interest in defining what the assignment the gentleman had brought. So people have various interests.
Oh, but that's deliberate. That's deliberate. So, not that he thought he heard. He knew he hadn't heard.
So that is a typical scenario where 2 prophets, one younger and even one older, have all claimed that God has given us instructions related to one action. And then in the end, only one proved to be true. So in the end, all these prophecies, only one will prove to be true. And that lies in the womb of 31st January. And so sometimes I even lost count of the number of people who said so and so. Though I counted more people who said Dr. Bawumia was going to win, prophesied that Dr. Bawumia is going to win, but I'm a pastor, but I don't want to go into the prophetic review. I think there's an office at the Jubilee House that reviews these prophecies. Maybe
they've taken it down.
Maybe they can do a better job at that. But religion, see, in Isaiah chapter 45, Cyrus was not Jew. Cyrus was in modern day Iran, and he was not Jew. And even though he was not Jew, the Bible says that God said that Cyrus, my anointed, and Cyrus, you are the one I have chosen and appointed to lead my people out of exile, my people Israel, to liberate them. Even though you have not known me, I have chosen you. And God empowered him. And God was with him, and he anointed him. And indeed, he won victory and led the God's chosen people, the Jews, the Israelites, out of exile in that situation. So if God can, use a non-Jew, a non-Christian from modern day Iran, in Cyrus, and even call him my anointed, and even come down in the further down verses 4 or 5 to say, even though you have not known me, I have chosen you. It proves the point in the New Testament that God is no respecter of persons. God is no respecter of persons. He can choose anyone he so wishes, anoint him to lead his people, and his people will prosper. So I want us to look at it from that perspective. And I say again that all the other four honorable Ken Japan, my own very good brother, we have a fantastic relationship. He's a great man. He's supported. He's done amazing things for the party. Same for my boss, Dr. Educhum. He did a great job at Ministry of Education. Honorable Dr. Brian is a great, fantastic businessman. He has a PhD, about 3 masters, very learned, very, very knowledgeable, very bold, and generous too. We have Honorable Engineer, Dr. Engineer Kwabena Japan, who was very experienced in the party, former General Secretary. He speaks so well, I admire him. But I'm saying that at this point, it's about who is the most marketed, the most formidable, and the winnable. And I think that's my appeal to my people that, within this few weeks or few 17 days, so 31st, well, whatever may have happened, let us ensure less acrimony. Let's rather identify, look, NDC is here, we are busy knocking our heads, and they are busy, smuggling in LGBT they are busily making losses at Gold Board over 2.4 billion cedi. These are the things we should be busy talking about and be projecting our alternative and be less on acrimonies and the insults and trying to destroy this and pulling in this down. At the end of the day, when one wins, all of us are expected to come together and to market that person. So personal hatred and malices should be set aside, and let's look at who will win us, who is better suited to win us power going into 2020. And I think that is Dr. Bamwood Bamia.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Intim Fojo. It's been a long night. Thank you, viewers. At 26 minutes past 11 o'clock, it's always a pleasure coming to you this way. That's Good Evening Ghana for tonight. Thanks for watching, and good night.